Were some of the WWE draft plans changed? Some actual good news for AEW's TV rights negotiations, possibly. And my review of Monday Night Raw. I'm Luke Owen and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
I think it's fair to say that fans felt a little bit underwhelmed by the first night of the 2024 draft. It also led to the lowest SmackDown viewership of the year, not helped by competing against the actual NFL draft. So it left fans wondering if WWE would do a WrestleMania 40 and have Night 2 eclipse Night 1. And, well, they did that in terms of changes. More than double of the wrestlers changed brands as compared to Friday, albeit with an extra round of drafting. Amongst those changes last night were some exciting NXT call-ups, as Blair Davenport got picked for SmackDown, Ilya Dragunov and Lyra Valkyria were drafted to Raw, along with Mr. Ratio himself, Dijak, who was announced for the Red brand after the show went off the air. They joined Carmelo Hayes, Baron Corbin and Kiana James, who were plucked from NXT on Friday. Interestingly, it had been reported that Dijak's contract was coming up soon, and it was reported that if he re-signed with the company, he would likely remain in NXT. Perhaps more importantly though, Fightful Select reports Dijak ate a lot of Taco Bell before having to sit for over 3 hours straight at the WWE Performance Center. Keep your eye on WrestleTalk.com for the latest breaking news as that story moves. It was reported throughout the week by Sean Ross Sapp that talents were not being informed of potential call-ups ahead of time, which made for some lovely, genuine emotional reactions. It had been reported by Fightful Select's Corey Brennan a couple of weeks ago that NXT stars were asking about draft plans, and head booker Shawn Michaels could only reply with a shrug, as no concrete plans had been made, which might be why there were some names being floated around as potential call-ups that did not happen. Brennan had reported ahead of Raw that many at the PC are expecting Gallus to be drafted, presumably because they were instrumental in helping The Rock get back into ring shape ahead of his WrestleMania 40 match, which for my money still features the best sell of the year. Another name being tossed around as a potential call-up was Fallon Henley, and Brennan had previously reported that Tony D'Angelo and Stax were names being talked about getting called up. Another interesting one is the Final Testament, who had been rumored to be heading to NXT as part of the 2024 draft, but instead were drafted to Raw in the final round. Natalya, who was also rumored to be headed towards NXT according to Corey Brennan, was also drafted to Raw after Raw went off the air. Lastly, while Dijak was headed for a Bowel Breaker, Bron Breakker was drafted to Raw, and his Wolf Dogs partner Baron Corbin was moved to SmackDown. Despite reports there had been several pitches made to keep them as a team on the main roster. Sean Ross Sapp has now revealed the real reason the team was broken up, reporting that WWE sees a major single star in Breakker and that Corbin is likely to get a renewed look on SmackDown after not being pushed on the main roster since 2022. To round out the draft news, Giovanni Vinci, Tegan Nox and Apollo Crews were drafted to SmackDown, while Raw drafted New Catch Republic and kept hold of the Party Girls, the Creeds and Ivy Nile. And this is the one I know you've all been waiting for. This is the one you've been on tenterhooks for. Raw somehow managed to keep hold of Odyssey Jones after drafting him last year. Phew, boy, I bet you that was some tense negotiating periods between the brands. Moving over to AEW now, and unlike WWE, who have had all of their TV deals locked in, Tony Khan still has it all to do. While outwardly confident regarding AEW's future with Warner Bros. Discovery, things have been quite up in the air for a bit due to one big factor: the presence of the NBA on TNT. And according to The Athletic, Amazon have reached a massive agreement regarding the broadcasting rights for the NBA beginning with the 2025-2026 season. To quote top-tier WrestleTalk fan Dan, NBA is a big one. So this is obviously a major blow to Warner, but it could prove to be a big positive for AEW's chances of remaining on the network, as detailed by Dave Meltzer on Twitter, who noted that TNT's revenue will likely decline significantly, making the retention of AEW more valuable to them. Meltzer also alluded to the possibility of Warner moving AEW's A-Show Dynamite from TBS to TNT in NBA's absence. By all accounts, the Warner and AEW relationship is as good as ever. Warner is reportedly really happy with AEW's Dynamite's low numbers last week and its position of 6th overall in the cable charts according to PW Insider. While the numbers were low, it faced stiff sports competition, with many of the shows that had better numbers than Dynamite being within the same family, aka NBA games on TNT. The latest episode of the Monday Night War went live yesterday, with injuries ruining my plans, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's what you need to know. Welcome to the Monday Night War.
Oh, I'm over budget.
I'm proposing a trade with Raw.
Oh! He's done it!
It happened!
He's done it!
I've gone overtime! It. Andrew Dawkins' contract is up at the end of the week. I'm not going to renew the contract. Let's hope he doesn't become champion. So let's
Please be champ, please be champ, please be champ. He finally pulled it out. He pulled out the big one.
Then had an email from Shinsuke Nakamura that said, I've got travel issues, so I fired him.
Oh my god! A brand new record!
I had the exact same thing with Nikki Cross, right? You have no champion.
Just me and Bales.
It's normal. Now it's going to be Braun. Why are you guys talking?
I might have released Bailey.
Isn't Bailey your champion?
Yeah.
We've linked to a whole playlist of Monday Night War Season 4 in the video description, so set time aside and start your Monday Night War watch-along today. And now it's time for my review of Monday Night Raw, aka Better Than Night 1 edition of Monday Night Raw, in about 5 minutes. The show opened with Logan Paul arriving at the arena drinking his terrible drink like the big heel that he is, making friends with the Judgment Day, which will pay off later in the show. Becky Lynch opened the show proper to put over how she is the new Women's World Champion and wanted to find her new #1 contender. This brought out Liv Morgan, who said that Becky was only champion because she did what Becky could not do. She took out Rhea Ripley. SmackDown draftee Nia Jax came out and said that Becky only won because she and Liv double-teamed her, and this set up a match between Liv and Nia for later in the night. Morgan was full-on babyface here, as it looks like they're doing a bit of a slow burn on that heel turn. It would have been nice to see a new face in this division though, considering the draft is supposed to be a signal for new directions for brands. Stephanie McMahon came out to announce the first round draft for the episode, as Raw picked up Imperium and Damage Control, while SmackDown kept hold of Jade Cargill and Kevin Owens. Pat McAfee said that Nick Aldis is an idiot because Adam Pearce drafted 6 people while SmackDown only got 2. You know, he has a point. Gunther then beat Xavier Woods in a great showcase that showed off his dominance. He worked over Woods' knee, which prompted a drama-filled half crab. Shout out to Michael Oku, good luck in your Riot Cabaret title defense against Mark Andrews tonight, and Kofi Kingston teased throwing in the towel. Woods begged for Kofi to let him continue and got to the ropes, but Gunther dragged him back to the center of the ring and tapped him out Zack Sabre Jr. style. A great showing for Gunther this was. Logan Paul and some YouTube geek came out for the next draft picks. You know, you could have at least pick someone half famous in the world of wrestling YouTube, you know, keep it on theme. Oh, I don't know, maybe someone who's bald and who has a beard, looks good in a suit. Someone who is known for their excellent, insightful wrestling opinions. You know, Simon Miller. Raw kept hold of CM Punk and got a returning Braun Strowman, while SmackDown kept hold of The Pride and Tiffany Stratton. Paul kept the talking going for a very wacky segment where he cut a promo on Jey Uso, because that's how you promote the brand split and the draft, the #1 draft pick for Raw, teasing a match with a SmackDown champion who cannot be drafted. This brought out Jey Uso, which then brought out Finn Balor and JD McDonough, who beat Jey up. Paul then went out of the ring and got Super Bowl rings from a hometown player who got big cheers for helping the heels beat up the top babyface on Raw. And Braun Strowman made his return to even the odds and then teased getting into a fight with that local town sports hero until Jey Uso pulled him away. What an odd segment. Kathy interviewed Booker T about the draft picks and he put over Raw drafting Damian Priest, who wasn't eligible to be drafted, and Drew McIntyre walked up annoyed that CM Punk was drafted before him. Sami Zayn and Bronson Reed were having a decent match for the Intercontinental Championship until Chad Gable caused a DQ. He was then attacked by Bronson Reed to set up a fun 3-way feud, which I am all for, but it's basically the same thing we're doing on SmackDown in the women's title scene. The APA then came out, burn, 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 to announce that Raw had picked up the LWO and kept Drew McIntyre, while SmackDown kept Legado del Fantasma and drafted Shinsuke Nakamura. This brought out McIntyre, who was annoyed that it took Raw so long to draft him, great point, well made, and said CM Punk was not there. But CM Punk was there, hiding in a luxury suite. Drew went to find him, and Ron Simmons said, damn. Kathy interviewed Bron Breakker backstage, but more importantly, Dom got caught in 4K sneaking out of a room with Liv Morgan. And then Candice LeRae beat Maxine Dupree in less than 2 minutes to mercifully end this feud. And it is the end of the feud, as the Way were later drafted to SmackDown. So, to recap, this feud went 5 matches totaling 12 minutes. great. The LWO had conflicted feelings about being drafted with Carlito after it was revealed that he was the one who attacked fellow faction member Dragon Lee, and Ray continued his forever feud with Dominic Mysterio by calling him Dirty Sanchez. What, the Welsh version of Jackass? Shout out to the 5 people who got that reference. And for the rest of you, have this instead. Drew only found a signed picture of CM Punk in his viewing box, and Punk came out for a promo on Drew and turned his back, and I sure hope that his apology will be as loud as that level of disrespect. Teddy Long and Medusa announced that Raw had kept hold of Judgment Day and drafted Ilya Dragunov from NXT, and SmackDown kept Naomi and drafted Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. While I'm very happy about Dragunov, that has been a long time coming in my books, I am devastated that I have lost Piper Niven and Chelsea Green to SmackDown. Liv Morgan beat Nia Jax when Jax got distracted by Naomi and Tiffany Stratton brawling around ringside, and the Dudley Boys did all 3 of their catchphrases before announcing that Raw retained New Day and drafted Lyra Valkyria from NXT, while SmackDown kept Pretty Deadly and drafted The Way from Raw. Awesome Truth took on Alpha Academy for the tag titles, which had been set up earlier in the night by Chad Gable, making a deal with Truth, and berated Otis and Tozawa to win those titles tonight. They did not, as Awesome Truth hit their tag finish for the win. The final round of drafting saw Raw pick up Final Testament and keep Bronson Reed, while SmackDown drafted DIY from Raw and Belair Davenport. Belair Davenport? Nope. Blair Davenport. While SmackDown drafted DIY from Raw and Blair Davenport from NXT. I nearly said it again. It was quite wholesome how much this meant to Davenport. It also means with both of them being on the same brand, we can have a real-life version of Tiff Dav! Shout out to the 5 people who understood that reference. And the main event saw Jey Uso team with Ricochet and Andrade to beat Judgment Day when JD McDonough, complete with hilarious makeup to show off his Super Bowl bruises, tried to help Damian Priest when he didn't need it. It backfired. Jey Uso pinned Balor with the spear and the splash. A fun match with a fun finish, but this feud still's very mid-card. And it capped off another fine edition of WWE Raw, which I am scoring 3 out of 5. Now go and check out the first episode of Monday Night War over on Parts Unknown and catch up with the whole season using the link in the video description down below.